Datuk Seri Anwar. I have a question with regards to, you touched on the economy just now, and you also touched on the level of poverty in Malaysia being understated. One, in terms of the economy, it has been said that the GST, Goods and Services Tax, is a more efficient tax for the economy. But at the same time, we all know that Pakatan Harapan came in at the 14th general election on a promise. One of the promises was to do away with the GST, which it did. But now we are reading in the media this week that there are people advocating for the reintroduction of GST. The government may be looking at it. I know you were the finance minister previously. So my question is this. Whether or not the GST is a more efficient tax, is it the right time to have the GST reintroduced, bearing in mind what you said about the poverty rate? Always, sometimes a good idea planted on the wrong grounds will not find root and grow. So, will the GST be a good idea for Malaysia at this point in time?
Without doubt, GST is considered to be more efficient and transparent taxation system or tax system. There's no question. But whether a country is ready with such a threshold of enormous numbers under the lower or income bracket can actually be expected to accept that sort of policy. That is the question. That is why I think for now the decision is to proceed to SST. Of course, in the initial change, there were some problems. Some people are paying double, some people are paying a bit more, so it has caused a lot of rumblings. But I think given the commitment of the Minister of Finance to try and regularize it and making sure that the adjustments are made, I think we should proceed with the SST. It shouldn't stop us from relooking at the issue of taxation. I still believe that the tax reform is essential. Taxation must be quite progressive form of taxation because you should not in any way burden the poor. There's also another problem. But you also realize the taxation policies without being very transparent and efficient would cause a lot of leakages. So for now, I think, although I do accept the fact that it is more efficient, transparent, the GST, but with the income level 1,500, 1,800 or 2,000, 3,000, it is grossly unjust to impose. Because they say you can give some exemptions, but it is a transparent system. Everyone has to pay. And you can give 20 exemptions, but that does not answer the question that vast majority, including the poorer segment, has to pay. If the threshold goes beyond 4,000, then probably this can be considered. That would take some years before you can even consider this option. They always give examples of countries embarking upon that to ensure there is a more efficient way of collection, and you actually collect more because the habit of the very rich and powerful sometimes evading tax with the sophisticated methods or having these two books, one for the tax officer, one for under the counter. These things can be avoided under the GST, but you must realize, but once you implement, the vast majority, actually the entire population has to pay. And is it just, for example, to get everybody to pay when they come to under this income bracket that is really, under such a low income group which is really poor? So to my mind, I think we should proceed now with SST, improve, reform where necessary, make the necessary adjustments, and give some years before we start considering change again. because change is, going to be a hell lot of a problem, as you have seen in the last 6 months when SST was implemented. Thank you again for your patience.